Hey guys, it's Jay Calderon with 12rounder.com, and I'm here to give you the quick picks for this weekend's upcoming fights. Got a couple of cards we're going to be focusing on. The first one is at the MGM Grand. Both cards are in Las Vegas. This one at the MGM Grand, it's headlined by Amir Khan versus Devin Alexander. I broke that down, of course, in one of this week's pick'ems, so you can check out that link below, but I believe that Khan will have enough, even if he's rocked, even if he's troubled a little bit in this fight, he'll have enough in terms of speed, piling up early on points in the fight to probably win a decision. Could be a little bit closer. Could be a little bit closer than one might expect on the cards, but I predict Khan will come out on top in that one. I also think in the co-featured bout of that card, you have Keith Thurman taking on Leonard Bundu. I believe Thurman will certainly have enough in that fight. It's not a stay-busy fight. He is coming back from, I believe, a shoulder surgery. I apologize. And Bundu's a tough guy. He gave Frankie Gavin his first loss. He's undefeated himself, and he certainly seems ready to take his shot now. That being said, I think he'll probably take one too many shots in this fight, and Thurman probably stops him somewhere in the middle rounds. He's a faster fighter than you'd expect. He's certainly explosive. He has power in both hands. He's improving as a boxer-puncher with legitimate puncher ability. And I think ultimately what will probably decide that fight is that Bundu is a little too flat on his feet sometimes, and he's a little too squared up. When Thurman perhaps starts leaning back a bit more, boxing a bit more, if he doesn't bulldoze him, because he might try to get a few rounds in. So if he doesn't bulldoze him, and he's staying in the pocket a bit more, kind of just leaning with the shots, I think that's when he's probably going to catch a squared up Bundu and get the stoppage. Could happen earlier, but that's my prediction. I also pick Abner Maris and Victor Ortiz to beat Jose Ramirez and Mike Perez, respectively. Could be interesting fights in terms of whether or not Maris and Ortiz are fully confident in themselves. That being said, if they are what we have seen in the past at their best, they should get stoppages against these sort of opponents. I would expect Maris to get one a bit earlier. You might remember Ramirez for his Vasily Lomachenko non-performance for all intents and purposes. No offense to him, he did show up to fight, but he just was no match whatsoever. So I'd expect a fourth round stoppage from Maris, putting his shots together, being a bit more defensive minded, and probably stopping him or hurting him at the very least initially with the left hand. I'd expect Ortiz to probably get the stoppage. It's hard to say, of course, but I would say probably in the middle rounds. Maybe Ortiz tries to shake off a bit of sort of cobwebs / confidence issues. New trainer, maybe he's trying to work some things into his game with Joel Diaz, but I expect a stoppage, probably some sort of combination against the ropes after getting him dazed, or maybe knocking him out completely. Don't know that one for sure. It's hard to say again with a guy like Ortiz, but those are my picks for that card. Then we go basically across the street at the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas. We have Timothy Bradley taking on Bradley-Chaves. This was the other pick'em this week. You can check out in the comments, or I'm sorry, in the description, a bit more of a detailed breakdown on that fight, but I do have Bradley winning a decision. I think Chaves has a good enough beard. If you could take Brandon Rios' best shot, I'm pretty sure he has a good enough beard to take Bradley, and I think Bradley will win a comfortable decision. He'll probably start out a bit aggressive, maybe takes a shot that he doesn't necessarily find himself liking all that much, or maybe just settles into the notion that he'll have a long night, paces himself, boxes, moves, makes his man miss, gets a little rough on the inside if he needs to, and wins a comfortable unanimous decision. In the co-feature bout of the evening, you have Mauricio Herrera taking on Jose Benavidez. I expect Herrera to win. I would not be completely shocked by any means if he's robbed in this fight. It's that sort of fight where it's probably going to be close. That being said, I think Herrera wins with his activity. He's a good enough, awkward enough fighter that when Benavidez is trying to score, he can make him miss and score his own shots. Even though Benavidez is a very negative fighter in many respects, I think Herrera has enough stay busy in him to win the decision there. Probably a split decision. It'll be probably a split decision either way it goes, but I'm going with Herrera in this one. Then, probably the hardest fight to pick in many respects this week, I have Matt Korobov over Andy Lee. The reason for this is Andy Lee's had, I wouldn't call it luck. He has a puncher's chance in every fight he's in. And just like in his last fight, he's the sort of guy that you know can win or lose any fight with that punch or going for that punch. That being said, your luck's got to run out. And again, I hate to use the expression luck because it isn't luck. He's a skilled fighter. He knows the punches to throw and he has the power to throw them with authority. But Korobov, I believe, will prove to be too good to fall for some of those sort of traps. That being said, again, it wouldn't surprise me if Lee does have the power to turn things around. And this is Korobov's big step up. This is his moment, so it's one of those fights that's difficult to pick, but I'm going with Korobov. You can't continuously come from behind with a single shot and expect to win the fights. That being said, love to hear your picks, your predictions. Love to hear why you think I'm an ass, because of course I am, because I don't agree with you entirely, so that must make me an idiot. And I'd love to hear your picks, your predictions. Tell me in the comments below, and of course on Twitter at 12RounderBoxing. Be sure to check out those pick'ems in the description as well. Leave a message. Love to hear from you. Like, share, comment, subscribe, follow, all that great stuff. And until next time, enjoy the fights.